Hello guys, welcome back. Rosie here, and today I'm gonna talk about my first experience of having a fistula and at the same time my first experience for dialysis. So basically, what is fistula? Why we need it and how does it work? And of course, what is dialysis? Dialysis is the process of removing waste products and excess fluid from the body. It allows patients with kidney failure a chance to live, while fistula is a vascular access, surgically created vein used to remove and return blood from the body during dialysis. It's a connection made by a vascular surgeon of an artery to a vein. An artery is a blood vessel that carries blood away from the heart. When the surgeon connects an artery to a vein, usually in the arm, like this one, if you can see it, this one, it grows wider and thicker, making it easier to place the needles during dialysis. In my case, it's already small and flattened. It's because after my transplant, my doctor asked me to take it out. Now, I give you an idea how big the needle was. Hindi sa tinatakot ko kayo, but just to give you an idea how big it is. If you're familiar for the Zestopack juice drink, the straw that they use for that is the same sizes of needles I used before during my dialysis. And take note, it's not only one piece of needle, but two pieces of needles every time I go for dialysis. One is used for removing blood from my body going to the machine, and the other one is used to return blood from the machine, which is clean already, going back to my body. And that's every time I go for dialysis. So can you imagine that? And my fistula stayed already in my arm for about 7 months before it was being used, because even if I already had fistula, I still very careful on what I eat. And the funny thing was, during that time, my visa was approved. But with my condition, if I need to travel outside the country, I need a special clearance from the doctor. But when I asked for it, he won't give me one because he said, what if something happened to me while I'm on the plane or while overseas? Having an emergency dialysis in other countries is very expensive. And as I've said before, kumakati ang pa ako, sobrang gala, kumakati ang pa ako. But I felt okay. It's just that the only problem was my creatinine. So I told my doctor that while I'm overseas, I'm gonna take care of myself. And he said, it's up to you, but still I won't give you a travel clearance to travel. And guess what? I did still travel, but I have this feeling of what if my doctor was right? And as what they say, no guts, no glory. So I did still enjoy my vacation that time overseas. While coming back home from the plane, I've noticed something going on in my body. I had a water retention from head to toe to the point where when I press my finger on my head and take it out, I can feel that there's a hole left in there. So that was how bad my water retention was. And when I arrived home, I had difficulty in breathing already. And I was so scared because I was alone. So what I did was I called my doctor secretary and informed her that I needed to be confined. When I arrived at the hospital, they took out lots of blood samples from me just to make sure that everything are okay before I would go on to my first dialysis. Now everything are okay except for one thing, the creatinine. From 700 it goes up to 1000. So they sent me to the dialysis room, but when I got there, my fistula is not working. As in to the point that my whole arm are swollen because of the needles. Because that's the very first time I've experienced those big needles. And since I needed to be dialyzed as soon as possible, because if not, my body will get poisoned because of high creatinine. So what they did was they sent me to the operating room. Can you imagine that? I was fully awake, lying down there on the table, and they put something on my neck. They put a dialysis line. It's used for emergency dialysis. It's a plastic tube, twice the length and half the width of a pen. They put through into my skin on the larger vein in my neck. In short, binutasan ako dito sa leeg. Dito pinapadaan yung excess fluid ko sa katawan na kailangang ilabas, and dito din pinadaan yung dugo ko para malinis, going to the machine and then going back into my body. So at first attempt, they tried like 2 hours for my first session of dialysis, just to make sure and check if how my body respond to it. And on the second attempt, they made it to 3 hours, and on the third attempt, they made it into 4 hours. So basically, in every session of dialysis I had before, I will be sitting beside with the machine for 4 hours, and that was twice a week. But this is a case-to-case basis, because there are some patients doing it 4 hours a day, 3 times a week. So basically, that was my life for 1 year and 2 months. And I tell you, when you are in dialysis, it's really, really hard. Aside from very expensive, it's time consuming, very stressful, it's exhausting, it's exhausting sitting on the machine for 4 hours. And but that was my life before. But as the life must go on, and I still continue to work and enjoy life. I work 10 hours per day, 3 times a week, and that's night shift. So the reason I'm telling you in this, or I'm sharing you in this regarding my experience for dialysis and even having a fistula, it's because hindi sa tinatakot ko kayo, but I don't want you to go through what I had been through. So that's basically my point of sharing this with you. So thank you guys for watching, and always remember that health is wealth. So in my next video, I'm gonna talk about the call that I've been waiting for. So thank you for watching. God bless you all, and see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye.